Hey everyone, it's Ivan, Combative.com, here to bring you another knife review. Today we're talking about this guy, the Magnus by AMTAC Blades. Let's go ahead, take a step back. What is the Magnus? It is a full-size combative fixed blade knife, which just happens to be the big brother to the Northman, also made by AMTAC Blades. If you've seen my review of the Northman in the past, this Magnus shares a lot of the same features, but basically scaled up. A little bit of backstory on the Magnus to include the Northman and AMTAC Blades. AMTAC Blades is a knife company started by Bill Rapier, who also owns AMTAC Shooting, which is a training company. Teaches basically the entire gamut to include long-range precision stuff, modern Minuteman courses, as well as integrative combatives. Basically using blades as well as pistols and some hand-to-hand. Things to deal with realistic, violent confrontations. And to that end, the Magnus came from that, just like the Northman, in basically his training, him proving things out, what works, what doesn't work. And to that end, you have like a legit full-sized fixed blade combative knife. What do I mean by a combative knife? You're like, well, I got this pretty cool knife, and you know what? Maybe you do. But as a general rule of thumb, here's the deal. If you have a knife and it doesn't come with a trainer, or for that matter, you cannot purchase a trainer for that knife that you have, it's pretty much a truck stop knife. It probably looks really cool. Who knows, maybe it would actually be really effective if used combatively, defensively. But you'll never know because, surprise, you can't train with it because there's not a trainer. Ipso facto, it's probably just a really nice truck stop knife. What are some of the features of the Northman? Northman features a 5-inch flat ground blade, and while this is one of the original ones, there is a upgraded version now which has a swedge going from about 1.5 inches from the handle all the way to the tip. What does that mean? Basically, there's material removed, so the blade is narrower and therefore better for actually stabbing into things. As far as the handle goes, about 3.75 inches, pretty elongated puño, which is this piece here, which is nice because it gives you something for your hand to grab when you are drawing it out. And in addition to that, the scales on this thing, they're aggressive enough to where probably not going to let this thing go, especially if you have a fairly decent grip on it, but at the same time not so aggressive that it's just going to end up tearing up your hand if you have to do any type of utility work or use this thing for longer than like 30 seconds, which is a good thing. While there is a lanyard hole, personally I don't use them, and material wise, the blade's actually made out of, I have to look because I always forget, CMP 20 CV, which is basically a super steel. Incredibly strong stuff and holds a really sharp edge. The Magnus also comes with a fire sheath. Built into this edge of the sheath, you actually have a ferro rod, and to that end, on the Magnus, the spine, it's not super sharp, but it is a 90-degree edge, so you can use this as well as this to create a fire if need be. Sheath is incredibly well made and positive lockup, and as you use it and it wears some, you actually have 2 different screws here, so you can use those screws to go ahead and tighten it down if you want to adjust how much tension or retention, I guess, the knife it has. And then also on this back side, there is, which is hard to grab with gloves, some Velcro right here, and you can peel this out and essentially open up this little section right here. In there you can put pretty much whatever you would like to put, whether it's a little piece of tinder or, I don't know, maybe a handcuff key, whatever you want to put in there, basically that little pocket right there. And then on top of all that too, these belt clips are amazing and do a great job keeping your knife sheath in place. So what is the Magnus? As I mentioned earlier, full-size fixed blade combative knife, made to be worn on the belt, probably on your other strong side. What does all that mean? Well, in training with Bill Rapier of AMTAC Shooting, Some things have definitely became apparent for me in those combative classes, one of which, when you're in that very dangerous space, the reactionary gap, it really comes down to who goes first versus who's actually better. And to that end, the importance of your other strong side. So if I am right hand dominant, obviously I have access to my tools with that strong side, so I can hopefully fight to a better position, fight to a better tool. But if that's tied up, I obviously want to have other tools available to me on my other strong side, so that again, I can fight to a better position and ultimately fight to better tool, right? Because in this kind of situation, you really want to win. As I mentioned, it can be carried pretty much anywhere on your belt. Usually I'll end up carrying it over on the other strong side. So I have access to it with my other strong side or coming across with my strong side, giving me access to it. The other thing is now your tools aren't all in one place, which you can run into, especially if you carry appendix. So regardless of where you are positionally, you probably have access to some sort of tool. The Magnus comes with the Fire Sheath, as well as a sheath for your live blade when you are actually training, and of course, training blade. Aluminum blade, the tip is about 1/2 inch shy of what the blade on the Magnus is. So as soon as you come into contact, you would have already basically penetrated about 1/2 inch. How much does it cost? About $550. Is that expensive? It's really expensive if you just want a knife. Really expensive. Because if you just want a knife, go buy a Mora. They're amazing, like 13 bucks. They do a great job. Terrible sheath, definitely not this, not made for this, not this type of steel, no training blade, anything like that. But if you're one of those people that just wants a knife, like, please, just go buy a knife. Like, those Moras are great. This is not that. This is made for actual practitioners, people that take their, as well as their families, safety and well-being serious, and people that are willing to actually go out, put in time, get training, put in reps. You're like, still, $550 is so expensive. You could just buy another Glock, but can you dual wield Glocks? And that other Glock that you bought probably needs ammo, right? This is basically a Glock for your other strong hand that you can train with all the time, doesn't ever take any ammo. That's arguably worth more than $550. If you'd like to purchase a Magnus, you can do so over at AMTAC Blades. And if you are a student from AMTAC Shooting, have taken any of those courses, you can also get $50 off that purchase price, so drops it down to $500. I get it, that's a lot of money, especially for some people, especially as of filming this at the end of 2020, things are tight. I will say, as an investment in your safety and well-being, coupled with training and coupled with willingness, I think there's a lot of value there. But if you pick one up, have some experience with it, let me know how it's been for you. And as always, thanks for joining us at kitbadger.com. Look forward to seeing you next time.